Hey, Andy here from Andy's Golf Blog. Now in this video I'm going to tell you what is in the bag and what's in my golf bag. As an amateur golfer, I am always really intrigued as to what equipment other amateurs are carrying. I'm not really too bothered about what the pros are playing with, because in all honesty they're playing with that equipment because they've either got a contract with the manufacturer or because they've got all the money in the world and can pick whichever piece of golf gear they want. Whereas amateur golfers are usually a little bit more restricted, and actually there's usually stories that are interesting as to why that equipment is in a golfer's bag. So in this video I'm going to tell you why I have the equipment that I have. If you enjoy this video, please do give it a like and feel free to comment below. Let me know what equipment you have in your bag. Let me know if you've used any of the items that I outline in this video, and I would love to engage with you guys in the comments area as well. And of course, if you've not already done so, feel free to subscribe to this channel where you'll find more videos like this and more product review videos for a lot of the content that I'm going to cover today. So anyway, let me tell you what is in my bag. Now first of all, let's start with the bag itself. This is a Titleist Stay Dry Premium Cart Bag. I used to have a tour bag which was way too big and I decided to downsize. Having used a Power Caddy bag for a number of years, I wanted a new bag that was similar, so would work well on the trolley, but I wanted one that was not white because I found that white just got dirty and was quite unmanageable during the winter months. Now I'm going to do a full review video and product review for this bag itself, but in the meantime, just a couple of things to note. So I like the fact that it's got the black and red, which is your standard Titleist colours, with the white writing. It's completely waterproof, so it's got really good seals on all of the zips. It's spacious, it's got a full kind of 14 slot divider, and it looks stunning. It regularly gets compliments from people on the golf course that I play with because it genuinely is a really good looking bag. And actually, before I bought this, I saw a lot of people with this bag and thought to myself, that's a good looking bag. So as I said, I'll make a review to tell you more about the bag itself, but let's have a look at what equipment goes inside the bag. So I'll kick things off with the driver. Now the head covers I have on my driver, my 3-wood and my hybrid, these are standard Callaway head covers, and I'll put a link to the description below if you're interested in purchasing a set of these if you like them. But what I like about these is they have the black decals with the red stitching and they're white, and actually they tie in really nicely with the bag. I didn't buy these when I had the bag, I bought these before getting it, so it just so happens they actually complement pretty well. But yeah, they're nice head covers from Callaway, and they fit really well on the club and they're easy to get on and off. Now this is my driver. As you'll see, it's a Titleist 910D2. It's 9.5 degrees of loft and I leave it that way. I haven't touched any of the settings on the club. I used to tweak it and try and change it for a draw bias, but to be honest, I've found in more recent times that I've just worked better with it on the standard settings that it comes with. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the shaft on this club other than to say it's basically a stiff shaft, which is what I use on all of my driver and my woods. The club itself I purchased for only £30 from American Golf. So prior to using this driver, I used a TaylorMade R1. It was a really good driver in terms of distance for me, but what I found with it was horrendous in terms of sound. So much so it was actually quite embarrassing. It was so loud and so kind of high pitched that when I used it at the driving range, people would actually stop swinging and look to their left or right to have a look at who was making that racket. So I decided one day to get rid of it. The other problem was the shaft on it was too long for me, so I found I was just not very consistent. So I headed to American Golf. I had in mind maybe looking at a 917 or 915 around the time. I found this on the pre-owned bit for £45. Made a few swings on the simulator, found that actually the dispersion was pretty good with it, and in terms of distance it was not bad at all. I liked the fact that it had a slightly shorter shaft on it, which as somebody who's not very tall worked out well, and the grip on it is a sort of standard ping grip, which to be honest, it's got a lot of life left in it. It's obviously not the stock one that came with the club, but it's not too bad. After I took it to the till, it turns out I got it for £30. So although the price was more initially, for some reason it was even further discounted. In terms of how I perform with this, my Shotscope V3 data that I use, so when I track all of my shots on the course, Shotscope has told me that I averaged 268 yards this year with this driver, which is not too bad at all for an amateur golfer. And in terms of accuracy, I'm around about 47%. So I have found in recent times that actually my driving has been really, really good. So I'm a little bit reluctant to change this, but then I'm also thinking it is 11 years old, so in terms of technology it has moved on quite a bit. I could possibly swap it for something that might get me some more yards and maybe even slightly more increased accuracy. But for now, this club's staying in the bag. As I said, it's a really nice driver. It's got a beautiful kind of thud sound off the face, and for £30 I really can't and shouldn't complain. Okay, next on we have my 3-wood. So this 3-wood is another Titleist. It's a 913 FD. It's got 15 degrees of loft in this one, and I've left it on the standard settings. So I'll give you a little view just here. It's not really in the best condition. I bought it off of eBay for around about £50 or £60, and it wasn't great in terms of condition when I bought it, but I wasn't too fussed. I have unfortunately since purchasing it added a couple of sky marks here, which I'm really annoyed about, but there's not much you can do. This one comes with a shaft that, to be honest, I'm not particularly keen on the look of the shaft. It's got these kind of like almost like flowers at the top here, but I like the colour. I just don't like these little bits here. But it's a standard S-Flex shaft here. And as I said, I haven't adjusted any of the settings on this, so I left it at 15 degrees. One thing I like about this club is it's very, very consistent. So you don't get the odd ball that comes flying off the face. It tends to be very similar between shots. I can't remember what my average with this this season is. I think it's around about 225 or so yards, but it's a great little club off the tee when I'm looking for a little bit more control, because I do tend to hit this with more control than my driver. The grip that's on it is actually an Inesis grip that I have put on myself, so you can see that just there. And I have a review on my blog post around this, but you can have a look if you want to have a look at my blog for the Inesis grips. These are about £3, and it's every bit as good as any other grip I've used, if I'm honest. Okay, the final one in the kind of woods and hybrid section is my hybrid here. This is a 18 degrees Callaway X2 Hot hybrid. I've had this for a number of years now, and it's a really nice little hybrid. I like the kind of matte finish on the top. We've got another stiff shaft in here, and I've got a Golf Pride multi-compound grip on this one. Now, I don't use this club as much as I should, although this season I have started to use it a bit more, because since changing my irons, which I'll talk about in a second, I now have a bigger gap between the 3-wood and my 5-iron. So this comes in quite handy. At 18 degrees, it's probably more in line with a 5-wood. And what I find with this club is it says here hyper speed face cup. Now, what that translates to me is it's like a rocket. Sometimes when I hit this, it's very unpredictable. So you can connect with it and the ball will launch and it will go. So where the 3-wood is very consistent off the club face, this one, well, it tells you it's X2 Hot, and it really is. So good club, enjoy using it. Use it on long par 3s more often than not, but it's a little bit unpredictable, so it doesn't get used all the time. Right, in terms of my irons, I have these. So I'll just grab the pitch and wedge. So these are the TaylorMade P770s. These are the 2021 model. They are absolutely beautiful. The best thing about these is I managed to pick them up for only £12. So if you want to know how I got them for £12, you can click on the video link above or below this description, where I have released a video explaining how I got my hands on a brand new set of TaylorMade P770s for only £12. These were custom fitted for, so I have the KBS Tour 130 extra stiff shaft in these. The difference between these and my old clubs or my old irons was that I always used stiff shafts historically, and I've now moved up to extra stiff. So that was something that came to light during the fitting, is that I am better suited to extra stiff shafts. So that's what I've got, KBS Tour 130 extra stiff. And you'll see that the logo on the grip here, which is a standard tailor-made Z grip, you'll see that the logo is actually underneath. So when I grip the club, the logo sits on the bottom rather than on the top where it normally is. When I was asked what I wanted, I chose to have it logo side down because I prefer, to be honest, just not really to have too much going on. I like the fact that the club's very kind of plain and stylish, and the same with the grip. I just don't like too much there. So it's a Golf Pride grip, and it's a TaylorMade P770. I've got these from 5 all the way through to pitching wedge. And the nice thing about them is they all look exactly the same. So whether you're using the 5 iron or the pitching wedge, the face looks the same. The only difference is there's the little kind of slot at the top, which you don't notice because it's on the ground. Let's have a look at wedges. So I have this here. This is my favourite club in the bag. This is a 50-degree McGregor Tourney. Now, there's not much going on with this. It's a very old club. It's an American brand, I believe. And I'm not sure if this was part of an original set of these kind of tourney blades, but I love it. I got this in a charity shop for only £3 because I snapped the head on my 52-degree Vokey at the driving range and decided I needed another 50 or 52. Found this in a charity shop in Edinburgh one on my lunch break at work, and it is just a wonderful, wonderful little club. I use this when I've got 100 yards in, so anything around about 100 yards, this is my go-to club. It seems to basically just go 100 yards. I'm so consistent with this club, and I'm always happy to use it if I've got that yardage because I know where it's going to go. The face doesn't have any kind of like spin milling like a lot of the current or new wedges or modern ones, but what it does have is incredibly sharp grooves. So much so that sometimes it used to peel the covers off of new Pro V1s. So I don't use it all that often unless I've got those yardages, but it tears through balls and you get some reaction on the green. So it's a lovely little club. But as I said, sometimes it's about the stories with clubs. And for me, this was a bargain in a charity shop. And actually, I kind of regret not buying the whole set, if I'm honest. Okay, so let's have a look at my other wedges in the bag. I have these, which are 2 Titleist Vokeys. So I've got SM6s here. I have a 56 and a 60. So here's the 56. Here is the 60. They've got S grind and M grind on them. I can't remember too much about the difference between the individual grinds. What I do know is the 60 has 10 degrees of bounce and the 56 has 8 degrees. I purposely chose a 56 with 8 degrees to benefit from when the ground is quite firm. So where I used to play at Burnt Island, it was a kind of links hybrid, and I knew that with the turf being a lot firmer, this would come in handy with the 8 degrees of bounce. This one with the 10 degrees, the 60, tend to use this in bunkers. It works really well for bunker shots. And I've also found that this is quite good for when the ground is that little bit softer, which at my new club, which is a Parkland, that tends to be the case. So this 60 actually gets most of the use around the greens. And in terms of the wedges that I use, I would say this probably gets used maybe like 60 to 70% of the times that I use my wedges, which is an awful lot. I'm one of these players that likes to usually send the ball in a little bit higher and try to get it to check near the flag, rather than taking something like the 56 and working it in a bit lower. Both clubs have the standard wedge flex shafts on them that come with them as stock, and I've also got the Golf Pride multi-compound grips, which, to be honest, this is really quite worn, so I'll be looking at re-gripping both of these clubs in the near future. Lastly, in terms of clubs, I have my putter here. Now this is a Ping Karsten Answer 2, and I've used this for around about 10 years. It's a beautiful little blade club. There's not too much going on. It's quite plain in terms of looks, but I really like it for that particular reason. I bought this for about £30 from my pro shop, and I have found that it's really quite a good putter, or well suited to me. It's got a slight arc on it, and I think it's about 34 inches in length. Now I've recently created a video explaining how I decided to use this one instead of the TaylorMade Tour Spider that I previously bought. So I used the Spider for about a year, and then what I did is I decided to switch back to this using the data that I've gathered from my Shotscope V3 golf watch. So in terms of how many putts I've made, the distances, how many I'm leaving short or long, all of that data has been analysed, and that's helped me decide that this is the best putter for my bag. So you can view that video if you want using the link in the description, or I'll post it in the card above. But that's talking about how I use the Shotscope data to make data-driven decisions about the clubs in my bag. But yeah, it's a really nice putter. I putt quite well with it. The only thing that lets it down is the state of the grip that you see here. So this is a standard one that came with it. It's very, very, very worn. But to be honest, I just grip the putter so lightly that I don't need much of a grip. And I found that I like the width of this. So I'll probably keep this for another good few seasons. If it starts to get really bad, then I'll be changing it just for a standard sort of thin grip like this one. But for now, there's a little bit of life left in it if I continue to kind of look after it. The head cover here actually is a 149th Royal St George's Open Championship head cover that I won on an Instagram giveaway, and it fits really nicely, and it's got a nice little magnet down here which helps it clip and prevents it from getting lost. Couple of other things about my bag. So I use this towel. This is an Impact Detect microfiber towel. Works really, really well for cleaning balls, certainly during the winter periods when it's a lot wetter. The towel absorbs the water, but it doesn't become kind of bogged down in water like a standard one. So it can retain a lot more water and moisture than standard towels. And the kind of grooves on the towel here help to clean the balls more efficiently and effectively. And it's got a little mini towel which is connected via a magnet, so you can connect it on and you can pull it off. You can then take your ball, clean your ball when you get to the green, clip this onto your belt or put it in your pocket. Then when you get back to your bag, you just throw it on and it reconnects. So Impact Detect, really nice towel here. And whilst I'm talking about golf balls, I use the Titleist Pro V1X. Now you'll see on the ball I score out Titleist on both sides and I draw a line just to help with my putting. I've always used Pro V1s, and in recent years have settled on the Pro V1X. I enjoy these balls because I find around the green they're just really nice to putt with and to chip with. So I'm never too fussed about approach shots or long shots like your drives. My focus is usually around how well they react on the greens and how comfortable I am chipping and putting with them. So Pro V1X is my ball of choice. When it comes to golf gloves, I use this. This is a Corbetta glove, so this is the company Corbetta gloves, and you'll see it's a very, very kind of worn glove now, but I've had a lot of life out of this. Incredibly comfortable, and nicely breathable too. So I've used these for over a year now, and I bought a pack of 3, and you'll see they're still going strong. So I'll link to those in the description as well. A couple of other things on my bag. Shotscope Pro L1 laser rangefinder. Huge fan of Shotscope and the products that they make. I've got a lot of videos explaining how the products work and what the products do. I've even got a product review video for this. But basically this is an affordable rangefinder that has all of the features of normal rangefinders, including slope detection. So you can calculate slopes with this device. It retails for around about £169.99, but if you use the promo code ANDY10 when buying directly from Shotscope, you'll get an extra 10% off of this. So you can use that on any of their products, so ANDY10. But check out my full review if you want more information about this really, really good quality, affordable laser rangefinder. It's invaluable. It's one of the best additions to my bag, and I use it constantly on the golf course. And then the last thing to highlight is my Shotscope V3 golf watch. So I use this every single time I play golf, whether it's my home course or another course. I use it for the GPS data on the course, but I also use it to track my performance off the course. So it captures all of your performance data, including the clubs that you use, how often you use them, how far you hit them, how many strokes you've made, how many putts you've made, how many putts you've left long or short. And actually it's that putting data that I have used to settle on my ping putter for the foreseeable future. So in the video, which is linked below or above in the card, I talk about how I have analysed the data in Shotscope to make a data-driven decision around which putter to use. So you can check that out. I've also got full product reviews for the Shotscope V3 on my golf blog. Anyway, that's a tour of my golf bag and my setup. I don't change my clubs or my setup all that often, but in the future, as I said, I may look to change my driver out, but for now this is the set that I am going with. I hope you found this video interesting and fun to watch. If you did, please do give it a like and feel free to comment below. Let me know what clubs you've got in your bag or what equipment you use, or if indeed you have any of this equipment yourself. Thanks very much for watching, and remember to subscribe to the channel to check out more of my videos. But thank you.